Hello, welcome. Today we journey to Africa, to a land rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. This land is Nigeria, a tapestry woven from over 250 ethnic groups. The Niger River cuts through the heart of this nation, giving life and giving its name. From the dry savannas of the north to the lush rainforests in the south, Nigeria is a land of diverse landscapes. These lands have been home to various groups for millennia: the Hausa, the Fulani, the Yoruba, and the Igbo, each with its own language, customs, and story. But these stories intertwine, forming the rich tapestry that is Nigeria. It's a history marked by both triumph and tragedy, a history we'll explore together. Long before European ships sailed to these shores, great kingdoms flourished in what we know today as Nigeria, centers of trade, art, and learning. In the north, the powerful Hausa Fulani empires held sway. Islamic culture flourished, and the cities of Kano and Zaria became bustling centers of trade. To the south, the Yoruba kingdoms thrived. Ile-Ife, considered the spiritual homeland of the Yoruba people, and the Oyo Empire, renowned for its cavalry and military prowess. In the southeast, the Igbo people developed a unique system of governance based on democracy and consensus. Their artistic achievements, especially in bronze casting, are still admired today. These kingdoms and cultures forged their own destinies. They interacted, traded, and warred, laying the foundation for the Nigeria we know today. The 15th century marked a new chapter. European ships arrived on the West African coast, the Portuguese first, seeking trade routes to the east. Trade brought wealth, but another more sinister form of commerce emerged: the transatlantic slave trade, a dark chapter in human history. Millions of Africans were torn from their homes and shipped across the Atlantic to work on plantations in the Americas. Nigeria became a major hub for this cruel trade. The slave trade brought immense suffering, decimating populations and disrupting traditional ways of life. But the spirit of the Nigerian people remained unbroken. Resistance took many forms, from armed uprisings to preserving cultural traditions. The seeds of resistance were sown. As the 19th century dawned, the transatlantic slave trade waned, but a new form of colonialism took hold. The British Empire, driven by industrial ambitions, expanded its influence in Nigeria. By 1914, the British had consolidated their control. They created one single colony, Nigeria. The diverse kingdoms and peoples were united under British rule, the amalgamation of 1914. This unity was artificial, imposed by a foreign power, but it would have lasting consequences. It sowed the seeds for a new national identity. British rule brought infrastructure, railways, schools, hospitals, but it also brought exploitation. Economic and political power remained firmly in British hands. The two world wars. They reshaped the world. They awakened a desire for self-determination. Across Africa, the cry for independence grew louder. Nigeria was no exception. Nationalist movements emerged, led by charismatic figures. Nnamdi Azikiwe, a passionate advocate for unity and independence. Obafemi Awolowo, a visionary leader who championed education and economic development. And Ahmadu Bello, a powerful figure in the north who sought to preserve traditional values. These leaders, they had different visions for the future of Nigeria, but they shared a common goal: freedom from British rule. Through peaceful protests, through political activism, they pushed for independence. Finally, on October 1st, 1960, Nigeria achieved its hard-won independence. The birth of a nation is never easy. Nigeria's early years were marked by political instability, regional tensions, a devastating civil war. From 1967 to 1970, the nation was torn apart by conflict. The scars of the Civil War run deep, but Nigeria endured. The road to democracy was long and arduous. Military coups disrupted progress, but the desire for civilian rule never died. And in 1999, Nigeria returned to democratic governance. Today, Nigeria stands as a giant in Africa, the most populous nation on the continent, a major economic power. But challenges remain: corruption, ethnic tensions, economic disparities. Nigeria's story is one of resilience, of the enduring spirit of its people. It is a story that continues to unfold, a story of hope, a story of promise, a story of a nation finding its place in the world.